An amazing Thursday show. Welcome, and we're very glad to have you listening and watching from the other side. You're right in time, like I said, and I would like to say for the first time viewers, just in case you fall in that category, this is Ask the CEO, a show that comes to you every Thursday from 9 to 10 p.m. in what has been a ton of events. Now, on this show, for the benefit of probably those who are joining us for the very first time, we have people who come in here as guests, people with stories from the business arena to career personnel, people who have woven their way to the top. I like to use that phrase because we believe that they have a story to tell you about life because they know a thing or two about life, something that could trigger an episode, good enough, or even a chapter in your life. Now we have an amazing guest with us here, Mr. Dickson Biryomumaisho, and I'm going to give him an opportunity to say hello to you before we let our feet onto the gas. Good to have you here, Mr. Biryomumaisho Dickson.
Thank you very much. As he said, my name is Dickson Biryomumaisho, and I'm happy to be here tonight. And I hope we shall all enjoy the show. And thank you very much for inviting me.
Absolutely amazing man over there. Now, I would like to let you know that tonight we will be talking the money in the honey. Oh, yes. And for those of you who are probably conversant with this, we are talking apiculture. I don't know whether it's also an art, but I know it is on the science field. But the ability to add value and do all these things probably needs an art. And that and more is what we'll be talking about tonight. And supporting communities through apiculture is going to be our basis of the show, the topic of the show. My name is Sabiiti once again, and we're very glad to have you on the show. And we hope that by the end of the next about 50 or so minutes, there will be value addition that would have been done. Thank you so much. Now, we like to say, and actually to do here on the show, that before we roll our sleeves to get into the gist of the matter, dissecting different topics and hoping that our dear viewers can pick a thing or two, we like to know who is this person that we have here in the studio. Where does your story begin? Like the question, the famous question around town goes.
All right, thank you very much. I am actually a village boy. I was born and raised in Rukunjiri, in Nyakabungo, in the humble family of Mzee Gacharo and Mrs. Jovia Gacharo. And I studied from village schools in Katung Primary School. I went to Nyavitete, then I went to St. Grad's, and finally I made it to Makerere University. And in Makerere University, I pursued a bachelor's in community forestry, and then later went back to do Master of Science in agroforestry. And while studying, actually, there was one called Professor Kajobe Robert, who is the current director of research in Muni University. He happened to be teaching beekeeping. And beekeeping became a very, very, very interesting course unit for me. And I performed it excellently. And as a person who had practiced beekeeping before, it became the interest for the rest of my life. Yeah, so from there, I was always looking for opportunity on how then I can help the country to be able to benefit from beekeeping. And in my search, even actually while at the university, I realized that there was formation of TUNADO, and which is the Uganda National Apiculture Development Organization, and that was in 2003. And in fact, followed by the way the presidential initiative to be able to organize the agriculture sector. There was a study carried out by Commonwealth Secretariat. And the recommendation 6.5 said that for the country to benefit from beekeeping, they needed the private sector. And by then, Professor Mondo Kagonyera, who was the minister of general duties in the office of the Prime Minister, was tasked to organize the beekeepers throughout the country.
So this is 2003?
2002 now.
Right.
And by 2003, that is when now TUNADO was actually formed. And we had Mr. Robert Nyabarema, who was our first ED. And we also had Madame Mario Dido, who was the first chairperson. And me as the youth, I joined actually as a volunteer to first do research in our home district and see who is involved in the beekeeping, what challenges. And when I finished, I was able now to join the board of TUNADO in 2008. And I have since then worked for TUNADO as the executive director from 2011 to date. And I normally tell people that I am either Nareke or Lake because I have not worked a lot under people. So straight from the university, I started by being the executive director. So that is the job I have done ever since then. Yeah.
I like to throw some humor around the place wherever I go. So when do you hope to relinquish power? That's a joke. We're very glad to have you on the show once again. And dear viewers, for those of you who are probably joining us for the first time and probably missed the intro, we're very glad to have you on the show. Every Thursday from 9 to 10 p.m., we gather in here. We bring in guests, we bring in people with stories. And in what has been sort of a mini series, we've been hosting guests who are doing a lot with community transformation. Now, tonight I have Mr. Biryomumaisho, who is the executive director at the Uganda National Apiculture Development Organization, or TUNADO. We're very glad to have you on the show once again. And I would like to ask,
please,
because this show is powered by Young and Flourishing, and one of the pillars at the foundation is mentoring. Did you, while at the university, or you said you went to St. Gerald's, a school that was previously known to be a soccer hub?
Yeah.
I remember.
Very
well. So did you actually from high school, right away from high school, or even at the university, for the case of, for the benefit of someone who is watching us and probably would like to catch a bit of mentoring, we talk about career guidance today. How important could that have been in nurturing and enhancing your dream?
Actually, mentorship is something very, very, very important. While in secondary, actually, I remember I was in senior one in Nyabitete secondary school, and there were two people who came from Makerere University, a lady and a gentleman. But I don't remember what they were saying because the English was too much. But our head teacher was able to tell us that these people are from Makerere University. But what struck me was that these people are really very smart. And I told myself that I must at least go to Makerere. If I can't go there to do a degree, I should go there to sweep. And I worked towards that dream and ensured that actually I reached in Makerere. So when I reached in Makerere, I also found some students that were really very inspiring, and we were lucky to have people like Professor Buyinza, for example, who could bring people from outside and be able to interact with them. And then I interacted with some people who were like ahead of me, and they introduced me to field. And I remember there is a gentleman called Jackson Nambaza. He works, I think, in the Ministry of Forest of Environment. And he was able to really mentor me and expose me to different areas, and also try to tell me what I needed to do in life. And then I got whites who really mentored me, like Professor Nicola Bradbeer. And that was very important to really understand how people behave internationally, how you can conduct yourself, how you need to organize yourself, position yourself, and be able to start making sense out of your life.
I would like to hold you a little bit. You will forgive me. We'll be going in for a very short commercial break. And when we return, we'll be listening in to the icing on the cake about our dear guests' say on what career guidance and mentoring can do a whole lot. I am here with an amazing gentleman. His name is Biryomumaisho. He's the executive director at the Uganda National Apiculture Development Organization, a body that brings together people who are doing value addition to honey, the bees that are not friends to some people.
No, they are social insects. People normally make fun, but
Yeah.
they are social insects.
The social insects.
Yeah.
I know you're trying to protect them, and it is also verified. Of course, before we went for the break, we're talking about how far this thing called mentoring, whether it is in career, whether it is in business, how far it goes to impact the lifeline of many people out there. A case in point, the gentleman you see on your screen. Could you add that icing on the cake before we get into what happens on a typical day at TUNADO?
Yeah, so when I get into TUNADO, I find also a nice gentleman,
Yeah.
Mr. Jurua Jackson. He was the board chairperson and I was the executive director, very young because I became executive director at the age of 26 for TUNADO.
Wow.
And of course, I was always facing challenges with wild ideas and things like that. But the gentleman was able to accommodate me and he put me almost on a mentorship program
Yeah.
every day on corporate governance, introduced me to Private Sector Foundation of Uganda, to people like Dr. Rusi Musoke, and so that was also very important. And back home, my mother used to call me also, try to guide me all the other time. And also being able to go to church and listen in, that was also very important. Because in work, you need certain ethics. And actually, like having church foundation usually is very good in getting some ethics that you need really to apply at workplace. So what I can say is that that alone made me a person that is trusted, and I saw now networks starting to open. And I had a person like Janet Rowell, who is also a white friend of mine, and she put me like almost on every week kind of training
Yeah.
on how you handle corporates.
That's a lot of capacity building.
Yeah. On how you really conduct yourself, on how you can develop organizational policies, strategic thinking, and that was very critical. And I had people like Mr. January Ntungo. He works for 3 years in Uganda. Actually, it's a region-owned organization. He started actually mentoring me in financial management, in understanding organization, managing member-based organization,
Yeah.
and so many others. And that is how really I came to really understand, appreciate issues of governance, issues of organizational management, issues of project management. So it goes slowly. You can't get all of them at a go, but you must be willing to learn. You can't know it all, because even up to now I'm still learning and I learn every day. But it has been a very great journey with those different people, and every other time you even consult them. But also reading has been I think the greatest tool
Culture.
that I have also used. Every time you read something new in your area is something very interesting. So if you are a CEO like myself, you only not need to read about
What's happening in your
field,
yeah.
but you must really be able to scan the environment, to
Yeah.
read about, for example, you're able to read about many other things, especially how do you govern an institution, how human resource, for example, financial management, for example.
But also trade.
And trade, how do you, because otherwise you will not be able to guide the membership
Yeah.
very well if you don't understand things like that. So how, for example, is the board meeting conducted? How, so you have to read widely and also understand other sectors that actually affect you. You must read about policies, for example, and not only policies within the country, but also policies maybe at regional level and also at international level, and try to update yourself, because if you don't do that, then you can't add value to what you're doing. So you must be really open to learning.
That is very true. Someone said that work on your communication, because when you open your mouth, you tell the world who you are. And one of the ways of enhancing that is if you keep adding a brick by the day onto your pool of knowledge, and that is through reading on a daily basis. Read something that is going to enrich your mind, but also your base, your content base that you will need to borrow from, especially when the duty of call comes through. Now, I would like to switch the guns to TUNADO.
Yes.
The word is TUNADO.
Yeah.
I hope the guests will not mistake it for tornado. The Uganda National Apiculture Development Organization. Like I said earlier, this body brings together all the beekeepers and everyone out there who is doing value addition to this sweet thing called honey, and sending it to the rest of the world from right here, the Pearl of Africa in Uganda. Now, we would like to know, when someone hears about TUNADO, what exactly happens on a typical day? It's a Monday morning, someone is probably watching us and they're trying to figure out, so what goes on at these people's place? If you walked in at their office, do they have some bees there? Are there some hives? Is there training going on? What exactly happens on a typical day, Monday morning, if you may like?
Thank you. Actually, I think I should first explain what TUNADO is. TUNADO is the Uganda National Apiculture Development Organization, and we call ourselves an MBO, a member business organization. So we are member-based and we are member-centered, and our members are well distributed throughout the country. And we divide Uganda into 7 sub-regions: West Nile, Mid-North, that takes Rango and Acholi; Northeastern, that takes Karamoja and Teso; Eastern, that takes Busoga, Sebei, and Bugisu; Central Uganda, the Greater Buganda; the Midwestern, that takes Tora and Bunyoro; Southwestern, that takes Greater Chigezi and Ankole. So in those regions, we have members, and those members, during the annual general meeting, they are able to elect their own board of directors, and those become 7 board of directors. But then we realize that they are traders, they are processors and packers, they are trainers, the service providers who actually cut across, and those have 2 constituencies. And the board also co-opt anybody they want, depending on whether they feel that the person is going to add value. So that means that the AGM, which is the annual general assembly, that is comprised of membership, is the supreme board of TUNADO, and they put the board, and the board is the one that I report to. And then the board appoints the management, which I head, and the management, we have very many technical staff, actually 60 of them, and distributed throughout the country. So when people hear of TUNADO, we are a coordinating body, basically, for the agriculture sector. We have core mandate that is to really organize and coordinate the agriculture sector and promote beekeeping as a business, because it is a business indeed. And then we do, for example, advocate and lobby for enabling environment so that the agriculture sector can flourish. When we talk about that, for example, if you wanted to import like bees, we would really make sure that we use all the effort that is there to ensure that the government stops you from importing genetic material of bees, or if you want to import like used materials, we talk about taxation, for example. We talk about, so we last time when the government wanted to spray, for instance, for locusts, we advised them not to actually use biodegradable. Like agrochemicals, we are advising government not to just allow misuse of agrochemicals because they will kill the bees. So that goes on enabling environment, for example. But also build the capacity, and we build the capacity along the value chain from the beekeepers to, for example, the processors and packers, to the trainers, to the marketers. So we do that. But also we do market linkages along the value chain. For example, we're able to...
which is very important.
Yes.
If I imagine you're there,
yes,
somewhere at the base, at the LC1, like we like to say, and you're stuck with your product. And maybe sometimes, if they are perishables, which I believe honey also
is not perishable product. That is the beauty with us.
So linking them with markets far and beyond, I think, is very crucial. And I think as one of your goals, enhancing even domestic but also community income so that people are able to sustain themselves on a daily basis.
Yeah, you're very right, because one of the biggest challenge I faced when I just joined TUNADO was that the beekeepers are scattered. Just imagine like you are in Kamion in Karamoja, or you are in Moyo, or you are in Kuringro in Kisoro, and you're a beekeeper, and you are 1 or 2, and you have produced your 100 kilograms, and you really want to access the market. And the market for honey is actually in Kampala. It's not something that is, it is outside. It is, so it was a very big issue. And then we had to develop some models like RTC model, which is Rural Transformation Center model. And in this model, we were able to say, okay, if you are you are a beekeeper, we could transform you into a bee champion, and then we make sure that you mentor also others, like 10 of them, because we use beekeeper to beekeeper extension model. And so when you mentor, and each of you, for example, has 25 hives, we encourage 25 hives, because we know that there you make significant income, as I will talk about it. So
is 25 the bare minimum? Can someone go all the way?
The minimum is, we have hobbyists who can keep 1 or 2 or 3, but if you want to be a serious beekeeper, then you 25. There we can say, okay, we can talk on a table and say you're a beekeeper.
Here is how we can help you.
So if you are now attached to this bee champion, and the bee champion must be having 50 colonies and above, then now we know that at least if somebody, you can reach a ton, you can reach 2 tons. So you start making business sense, and then it becomes easy for you to connect you to another TC, which is a processor, typical processor, who can take 1 ton. And and those other TCs, we attach several bee champions so that they have significant volume, like 20 tons, 30 tons, 50 tons, 100 tons. And then at national level, we are able to connect them to national buyers, including World of Bees. So TUNADO members realized that the market was becoming a problem. You operate in the village in Kitugum, and the operational costs are very high, actually. You need packaging materials, you need transportation, you need the marketeers in Kampala. Supermarkets are not paying in time. So the question was, how do we really solve this bottleneck? And that's how we came up with World of Bees. World of Bees is a business wing owned by TUNADO members. And for example, it is at Kingdom Kampala, it is at Akamwes, it is at Sun City, it is at Kira House. We have even like an online shop. So these other TCs bring their products there. They only send them, and somebody, meet them. And people, when we talk about beekeeping, actually think about turnaround. But I will try to break down different products that we really get. And they send those products, and then the staff, their staff who work at World of Bees, meet those products, take them in those shops, sell them, and send the money back. So that alone was able to solve the issue of market.
Yeah.
But again, it was able to solve the issue of traceability because people want to be sure that actually what they are buying is of quality.
I wanted to ask because that is one of the biggest scares or threats. You probably in your arena call them some red flags.
Yeah.
How do you actually supervise and make sure that the quality of the honey is not compromised? My grandfather had a number of them.
Yes.
And when we went back home for holidays, we saw him make some fire, walk down to the swamp area where there was a swamp, and then he came back with some just very inviting wax. Yeah? And so, but the way they are harvested, how do you make sure that from the hive, there's no contamination, so that just for the benefit of the viewers, so that they are very sure there's no shadow of, with no shadow of a doubt, the honey is of high quality, and like you said earlier, that you can even export beyond the borders of the Pearl.
Yeah, what we did first of all, it is the work and the mandate of UNBS, Uganda National Bureau of Standards, to set standards, but also control quality, but also the work of Ministry of Agriculture. So as TUNADO, we made sure that we worked with closely and signed MOU with Ministry of Agriculture and UNBS, and we were able to train our staff as trainees from UNBS and also MAIF. So we developed standard operating procedures, and now our staff are able to train our members, build the capacity on how they're able to handle the bees, how they are able to harvest. We have developed technologies of a bee suit. By the way, beekeeping is a white-collar job. People put on the bee suits very well, and they put on their gloves, very nice gumboots, white in color, and even the bee suit, we like catchy or white in color. And then you write your smoker very well, and you approach the beehive, and gently, the bees, I told you, they are social and they are gentle insects. They don't want people who
just arrive.
No, you must really be gentle and seem to understand what you're doing.
All right, I would like to cut you very short because we're going in for a very short break. This gentleman over here, our dear guest tonight, is very persuasive. He calls beekeeping a white-collar job because when you dress in your suit, that amazing, the kit, protective gear, and you walk in approaching that hive, it is as good as a white-collar job. Now, this member-based organization, an MBO like he called it, is not only localized here in the capital, it spreads its wings across the Pearl of Africa. Here people, we bring here organizations. The purpose and the inspiration, the goal is that from what they say here, you can pick a thing or two that might be helpful for you on the road of life. Now, you will remember this show is powered by Young and Flourishing Foundation, and it happens only here on Church of Uganda Family TV. Before we went for the break, we were talking about the value addition and how you make sure that there is quality and how you work hand in hand with the government entities. We're talking UNBS for the standards, but also the ministry to make sure that you're sending out a quality product out there. Now, as we try to maybe get into the last part of the show, we would like to dedicate this last part to the youth, the African youth. We believe that the African youth has a role to play in the transformation of the continent. So I would like to ask the big question here. With over 14 years of experience in your pockets, which opportunities do you have at TUNADO? What opportunities do you actually have for the youth? Or do you also have some opportunities for other community groups?
Actually, yes, we have opportunities for PWDs, persons with disabilities. We have actually beekeepers who are blind, doing great job. We have beekeepers who are deaf.
Interesting.
Yes, and we have developed training packages. We have expertise. We have all inclusion office with all trained staff on how to handle and how to train people with visual impairment to be able to practice beekeeping.
That is interesting.
We have the whole package for the indigenous people. We are working with IK in Karamoja. We are working with Batwa in Greater Chigezi. But also we have a lot of opportunities for women and a lot of opportunities for the youths.
I love that.
Yes, and I know most youths there, they are saying, but which opportunities are there?
Give us hope.
Yes, they are only looking at it from a sting point of view that the bee is going to sting me. But no, there are many opportunities actually. And I have seen very many youths really benefit. For example, we have now 40,000 youths who have benefited from our programs, and at least each of them earning above 300,000 per month, and they are self-employed. So that is very important.
And this we're talking is not something they have to be there full time.
No. And we have youths actually trading also in billions of shillings, who I saw start, and I see them becoming billionaires.
Wow.
So, and basically the opportunity I can say, for example, making a hive. When you make a hive today, you sell it in the evening. So you earn instantly. If you make a bee brush, you earn in the evening. If you make a bee suit, you earn in the evening. That very day. We are looking for bee suits, right, everywhere. If you are able to, for example, make a candle, you sell it. If you're able to make shoe polish, you sell it. If you are able to...
Shoe polish from...
shoe polish from beeswax.
Oh, really?
Yes, soap from beeswax. Jelly from beeswax. All these things are possible. Very addition, we teach you. It does not take you a week to understand on how to do this thing and be able to start earning out of it. We have very many youths earning out of it. And the demand for bee products is too high. Lip balms. People want healthy products. You've seen pharmaceuticals all over Europe and Asia. They are looking for beeswax like there is no tomorrow. And what is even interesting is that for beeswax, because it is not food, they don't put all of those stringent things like they put on food and others. No. They are looking for it. They can't get it anywhere else. The technology they use is different from the one that we use. And therefore, they cannot produce beeswax, and we produce a lot. So that is opportunity for us. If you buy honey today, and you pack it, and you follow the UNBS standard, you bring it to World of Bees, we sell it for you. Or if you come to World of Bees, because if World of Bees doesn't add any value to anything beekeepers supply. If beekeepers supply the honey in jerrycans, we sell it in jerrycans.
You sell as is.
Yes, because this members thing, we can't compete with members. So you just come, actually buy the jerrycan of honey with us, go and pack it, but we must monitor how you are packing it, that you conform to standard, and bring it back and we sell it for you. So that becomes so easy.
That is interesting.
And even then, in-house, we have a soft loan for the youths. We are able to give them the loans right from equipment if you want an equipment. Yes. And you don't need security, collateral security. That equipment itself, for example, is security for us. And during the honey harvesting, and for example, you want to start a business in honey business, during the honey harvesting, you're able to say that I have 100 tons here. We send our financial person to be able to pay on your behalf, and then take from you, store for you this honey. And every time you say, now I want 10 jerrycans, we give you. You pay only for the 10 jerrycans, and you start business, and we keep it for you. So we have very many interesting opportunities for the youths, but also youths can actually become beekeepers. We have very many youths who are beekeepers, and it doesn't take a lot. You can make these hives yourself from anything, from banana fibers, from elephant grass, there are locally available materials everywhere that these youths can actually engage. I have seen, we have a recent program that we have rolled out throughout the country and targeting 4,000 youths as beekeepers. And all of them, they are able to now earn in less than 1 year. They are able to earn at least something like 4 million a year. And look at it if you divide it. And look at the time that you need. I think in a week you need about 2 hours. So just imagine that 54 weeks in a year.
That probably means that if in a week you only need 2 hours,
Yes,
there's a motivation that if I double my production,
yes,
then they will be earning twice as much.
exactly.
So 8 million
Yes.
in a single year.
Exactly.
As you said, if you
That is the
divide
minimum even.
minimum.
That's the minimum. We have youths who earn commission. They position themselves as agents,
Yeah.
and they are buying from others, and they are earning a lot of money.
Yeah.
But also, look, there is a new actual business that is coming up.
Yeah.
People are planting coffee, people are planting macadamia, people are planting cashew, people are planting sunflower, and all these require bees as
That's-
pollinators.
Yes, I was about to say
Yes,
that perhaps one of the reasons or your hinging points when you spoke against the use of
Agrochemicals.
agrochemicals when we had locusts, it's because they would kill the bees.
Exactly,
Which would
yes.
mean that the farmers up there would struggle.
exactly. And these crops,
Yeah.
in fact, this is now a warning to government, because I wonder where they started from. Everybody knows that if you have a heifer, for example, without a bull, it will never produce.
Yeah.
So it is a known concept. So why should you give coffee, you give cashew, you give macadamia, you give all these things, and you forget the pollinator? The bees must complete the equation. Without bees, I can assure you, even if you did all agronomic practices with good seed, with good seedling, forget, you are not going to increase production because you are not responsible for pollinating those crops. It is the bee. And that is the next business for the youths.
Yeah.
With increasing monoculture in Uganda,
Yeah.
of people planting acres and acres of coffee, macadamia, cashew nut, sunflower.
Yeah.
For us, we are busy now training our youths who are going to keep the bees purposely to pollinate those crops. And they will be paid highly because this monoculture uses agrochemicals. So that means they will not have free pollinators within their fields. So somebody that is a self-styled youth must keep bees and only unleash them during the time of flowering. And that is how good it is.
And earn better still when you're earning.
Exactly, because there you are paid per acreage
Yeah.
and per hive, per colony that you put in there.
I want to request that you look straight in the camera. Speak to that youth out there who thinks this is some dirty work, like they like to say. They are probably seated back home, laid back, folding hands, and like they say, a little sleep and a little slumber, and poverty will pounce on you like a bandit. Send that message home. What inspiration can you give to them? We are not talking motivation. At least everyone has listened in from these stories, and I hope that we'll have another time when we can have some of those people here, so that the people who are watching us tonight can pick motivation. Say something to the youth out there who think this is some dirty work that they probably will not indulge in.
Actually, to the youths, one thing I want to assure you, there is no single beekeeper who touches soil, for example. Bees don't like soil. If you're digging, sometimes the bees are not happy with you a lot. So for us, the beekeepers,
Yeah.
we are doing a white collar job. You need to be smart first of all. If you are not clean, beekeeping is not your job because you are dealing with food. So first of all, you must be clean. Number two, with bees, you don't feed bees like the way you feed these animals all the time.
Yeah.
Imagine that you doing these other livestock, poultry, piggery. That's a lot of work. It's dirty work in my view. But with bees, you put them there, and no neighbor will even complain that the bees are actually feeding on their crops, but they will actually be feeding on their crops and making helping them, and also making money for you.
The beans, the peas.
The peas, the bananas, the coffee. So it's not like the goats and somebody is going to say, hey, come and get your goats. No. The bees will be feeding on their crops, and they will be making money for you.
Yeah.
So you do not require a lot of land, because I know youths, the biggest problem is that they don't have land. And you do not require a lot of land to be able to keep bees.
Yeah.
In fact, in a 3 by 3 meters, you can put 25 hives, and the bees will go and feed themselves.
3?
Yeah, 3 by 3 meters. Yeah, because I mean, you can build a ladder and be able to put them.
Yeah.
So it doesn't require a lot of capital. You don't need a lot. If we train you on how to make hive yourself, you don't need anything from anybody.
Yeah.
You can make the bee suit yourself. So actually, I can say that it's almost a free. It requires free capital, zero capital, but to be able to make money. All you need is the skill. That is number one.
Yeah.
And everything that you need is readily available. You can visit our website, www.tunadobees.org, or follow us on Twitter, or follow us on Facebook, or call 0414258070, and you will be helped.
Yeah.
We have all these WhatsApp materials, we have YouTube materials on how you can do it yourself, and it is interpreted in different languages of Uganda. So you have no single excuse. But also, we are almost in every part of the country.
Yeah.
So you don't need to come to Kampala to be able to reach us. No.
Yeah.
We have, whenever you see a motorbike in your area with TUNADO, just stop it and say, come on, I want to be trained on how I can make bees, or how you can join. And if you call or reach to us, write us a mail. If you can be able to write info@tunadobees.org, I'm very sure we shall help you at no cost, and you'll be able to start your own beekeeping project and start earning from a white-collar job. Yeah. The demand for the bee products is huge. Right now, I have a lot of demand for people wanting beeswax, for people wanting honey, for people wanting propolis, for people wanting bee venom, for people wanting royal jelly, pollen. All those are bee products. And every time they call me, these whites calling me, I switch off the phone. Because the demand is too much.
You are overwhelmed.
The demand is too much. We want everybody to come and join us. For us, we are not selfish like in other businesses where they don't want others. We want everybody because we have a lot of demand than ever before. Everybody wants to be healthy, to live a healthy life. Yeah. With COVID-19, whereas it was a shock to others, for us it was opportunity. People realized that bee products are really very good. And the demand for honey, the demand for propolis, a lot. I was in Europe in the entire August, and the demand is too much. I don't know what to tell them. I don't know what to tell them. So you youths, wherever you are, please just join hands. We shall be able to hold you, work with you, and make it.
Thank you so much. It's been a huge pleasure having you on the show, Ndugu Dickson. And to you, dear viewer, it is said that when one door closes, another door opens. But oftentimes we spend time crying about the closed door that we miss out on the other open door. A door has been opened, and I hope that we get the memo right here from studio. It's been a pleasure having you on the show.
Thank you.
And I hope that we'll have another time to have him on the show and many more success stories. We do this every Thursday from 9 to 10 p.m. Been a pleasure. My name is Apollo Sabiiti, your host once again. And we hope that with that, we'll be able to catch you next week, same time, at the same station. This happens only on Church of Uganda Family TV, and it's powered by Young and Flourishing. With that, we say, with the season and the hush going round on media about the ongoing Ebola, the virus spreading, we hope that the Lord will watch over you, that God will keep you safe and sound, not only you, but everyone who is close to you, so that we can be able to meet again next week, same time and same station. Good night.